back to the beginning. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what it was like growing up in Ireland.
Yeah, well, I'm from a place called in Dublin called Tala, and it's in the suburbs of Dublin. You know, kind of a place where you had to kind of look after yourself. It was.
You mean rough and tumble?
Yeah, it was quite a rough place, and you know, a lot of crime there, and a lot of stolen cars up and down the road, and a lot of police and stuff like that. So, but for me, it was my home. You know, we didn't have much money. My mother, she tried to work. She was a cleaner in the school, and my dad was a singer who travelled around Ireland singing in pubs, trying to make ends meet. So it was tough, but for me, I felt like I had a lot of money.
Well, I'm gonna touch on something you said there, very deep there, but I got to go to that. Your dad being a singer, did that pass down to you? Because I keep hearing a lot of reports that you got a pretty good voice.
Well, I like to sing. I'm Irish, so I mean we're brought up in every Sunday the whole family get together, cousins and stuff like that. And in Ireland it's like Irish traditional music and people singing. So my dad, as I said, was a singer. So every day he had the music on and playing his guitar. So that's where we kind of get from. So in Ireland, everyone likes to have a sing song, certainly after a few points anyway.
That's Franklin, nice cut to the inside. Franklin is free in the box somewhat. Across the way, goal for Keane. Robbie Keane makes it 1-1. And there's the trademark celebration.
Hey Robbie, cartwheels. You're known for your cartwheels. Tell me about your celebration ritual.
It's people really want a real proper story about this, but I actually don't really have one. It's just when I was a kid, just growing up, I was very athletic and very skinny and scrawny, and I was always very flexible, just messing around on the street or on the field, just doing cartwheels and doing silly things. And I said, if I score, when I play and I score goals, I'm going to do a cartwheel. So then the cartwheel ended up becoming the role. So it just sort of developed as I kind of went on.
So let's jump forward 5-6 years. What's the future hold for Robbie Keane?
I want to try and play as long as I can, really. I mean, I still feel great, feel fit and sharp. So, I dread the day that I have to, stop playing football, because this is my life and this is what I absolutely love doing.
Robbie Keane. It's Keane who scores, and it's back-to-back MLS Cups for the Los Angeles Galaxy.
What was it like winning back-to-back championships? I mean, your first 2 seasons, you're getting a championship each year.
Yeah, I know. It's the first time I came. I mean, I was here for like a few months, and then you end up, winning the championship, and then I didn't feel. I felt a part of it, but I felt because I was only here for a short space of time that it was great, obviously, to win it. But I think last year was more because I was here for the full season, and I think the manner that we played, for me, that was more of a thrill to win it last year than it was the year before that. But I mean, to win it 2 years in a row was great. But so we're getting greedy now, so hopefully we can win it 3 years in a row, which would be even better.
Who are the big influences on you in your family?
I'd say probably my brother. Probably he was 4 years older than me, so he was kind of the one that was always helped me and keep me out of trouble. And he was the one that always, when I had football and stuff like that, he would bring me over. So when the first time I ever went to the local team, which is called Fettercairn, which I played for years, and my brother brought me over when I was six years of age, and so there was like 50 kids there or something. So the manager just picked 20 players and basically told the other people to go home and come back another day, basically. So when the manager looked away, I was one of those kids that was sent home because he just randomly picked them. So when the manager turned his back, my brother grabbed me and put me in with the kids who got picked. So then eventually, from there on, I ended up playing and scoring a lot of goals, and my uncle ended up managing the team for a few years, and so that's really where I started, and that's why probably I would say my brother, he was the one. If he didn't pull me from that group, who would have knows what would have happened.
Soccer really hasn't achieved the popularity that it has here, that it has around the rest of the world. Why do you think that is?
I'm not really too sure, but I think now I feel like it is grown. I think every game that we play is like it's a full house. We play in Seattle, it's 60,000 people. In Portland, the place is full 2 hours before the game. You know, so I feel that it's certainly getting bigger. But of course, it's nowhere near the standards of it's in the EPL or in Spain or anywhere like that. But I think that will take a good few years. I think the problem was the FIFA should have give America the World Cup again, you know, maybe a few years ago or in the next few years. I know that's not going to happen for a while yet.
I agree with you on that one.
And I think if they had done that, I think this league would have taken off even bigger. But I feel it's certainly gone. I know a lot of players that I play with in the EPL, you know, and players that I've seen on holidays over here always ask me about and want to come over here. And these are players who've not just at the end of the career, players who's, you know, probably in the prime of the career. So in that respect, I think it's grown because people want to come here.
When you joined the Galaxy, you were one of 3 designated players on the team. David Beckham, Landon Donovan, and yourself, arguably all faces of the game in their countries. What was it like playing with those other 2, with David?
Yeah, great. I mean, as I said, I knew David when he came over. Obviously, I played against him for a long time when he was at Man United and stuff like that. So, he's an icon, isn't he? He's huge. I think he's been unbelievable for this league. I think he's certainly helped grow this league. There's no question about that. And I think the people in the league at the moment, you should be very, very thankful of his services, and such a great guy as well off the field. Is, you know, for someone who's so big and so famous, and then when you meet him, he's just the same as all of us, you know, and which I expected anyway, to be honest with you. But that was great to see. Landon is a top player. There's no question about that, and he's a player who, you know, playing with makes my job, you know, a lot easier. So for him, I think the connection that we have, certainly, you know, last season, if we can, you know, continue that into the latter stage of this season, you know, we'll certainly have a great chance of winning the championship again.
Speaking of the attacking players, you have 3, you know, besides yourself, but 3 very young, I'm not saying you're the real young guy, but 3 really young players that have kind of stepped up and become attacking players for this team. Can you tell me a little bit about them? McBean, Villarreal, Zardes, just your thoughts on them really quickly.
Yeah, well, Jack is a big, you know, typical number 9, if you like, strong, holds the ball up very, very well, makes a nuisance of himself with defenders because he's so strong, you know. Jose is more of kind of a little bit similar to myself in the respects where he likes to come off and get on the ball and try and make things happen, and he's got a great left foot as well, so he can, and certainly can score goals. Jossie, you know, his 4th season, you know, I think everyone's excited about him. I think it's going to be a big season for him. I think maybe next year probably be bigger for him, but for him in terms of his quality is, you know, he's so fast. He plays on the shoulder of the defence, which, you know, enables me to kind of come off and get on the ball and try and make things happen. So the 3 of them, 3 young players, and certainly, you know, with a bright future ahead of them.
Well, what type of advice do you give those type of players? You know, I mean, obviously you've gone through this already, but these guys, you know, just starting out, you know, maybe their first, 2nd season, 3rd season even, but they're still really young. Yeah. What type of advice could they give you?
Well, it's when you play with certain players, and, you know, with Jossie, for example, you know, recently we've been playing together because you know, Jose has been away and Jack's been injured. So with him, in terms of every time I play with him, I just, you know, give him a few little pointers, movements, little small 1, 2, 3 movements. I think with young players, it's if you fill the head too much before games of loads of crap, and then you know, it certainly goes out the window. So I think you just give them a couple of little pointers, like just movements. For me, when I was growing up, it was all about movement. You know, coming short to go long, and little small ones, but just to, it's like almost cat and mouse, isn't it, with the defenders. You try and always outdo the defenders. So I try and tell him to do that, because with his pace, he doesn't need to be. He can get 5 yards in something because he's so fast. But it's about using your head and using intelligence, and they're the little small things that I'm try and sort of help him just before a game. I don't like it too much in youngsters' faces, because I think sometimes it can go over the head if you speak too much.
Keep it simple, right?
Yeah, very
keep it
simple.
So let's jump forward 5-6 years. What's the future hold for Robbie Keane?
I want to try and play as long as I can, really. I mean, I still feel great, feel fit and sharp. So, you know, I dread the day that I have to, you know, stop playing football, because this is my life and this is what I absolutely love doing. I love waking up.
Don't worry, you can always come to my Sunday league. How's that?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. So I just want to play as long as I can, and as long as I feel good, and, you know, touch wood, don't get, you know, too many injuries. But when I do stop playing, it's, you know, certainly go into, you know, management or coaching. That's something that I would certainly be looking at. I'm doing my badges in December when I go back to Ireland. So once I do that, that's something that I'll be looking into.
Do you see yourself staying in the States, you know, after soccer's done, or, you know, back home in Ireland with your family?
Well, we've got a place in Ireland, but I mean, for me to actual, you know, want to be a coach or a manager, it has to be away from Ireland, because it's semi-professional over there. So I'd be either in England or, you know, in the States. So that's something that I can't really answer, to be honest with you, because I feel like it's so far away at the moment, and it's about opportunities, isn't it? So, I mean, wherever opportunities that come up, and at that time, well, then I'll have to see. But it's certainly coaching and managing that I'd want to go in after playing, but hopefully not for a good few years.
And one other question here, jumping to staff. Can you describe Bruce Arena as a manager coach for me?
Yeah, Bruce is great. I mean, you've played him yourself. You've been around him. You know what he's like. He's good character. He's, you know,
Always gives a giggle when
people
talk about him. Right?
Yeah, he's good. He's very good for the dressing room. He knows when to be serious and when to have a joke with the lads. And I'm just amazed at how he just knows everything about this league, which I'm still trying to get to grips with. And his knowledge about the game and about the players that we play is second to none. And he's been absolutely brilliant to me since I walked into the door from day one, and still the same now.